I can hear you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Prof.
Okay, first thing, I like to see your beautiful faces. Can you put on your video? And later on, when I start the session, then you can actually off the videos and mute. The reason I need to recognize every one of you. Also tell me that what stage are you? Are you at the proposal stage? And also, if you have any difficulty on relating to the research proposal, you can also briefly tell me. So in that sense, I will be able to elaborate further so that every one of you will get some benefit on that. Is that okay? All right.
Okay, Prof.
Yeah, please on your video so that I can see your face. Hi, Yuna. Okay.
Hi, Prof.
Yeah. What stage are you at now?
Just update my proposal because there's something that I have to change for my proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. So you can also write down on the chat box just in case you want to ask more. Yeah. Thank you. Who is next? Nobody want to show the beautiful faces, handsome faces, huh? Can you put on your faces, please, so that everyone can look at each other and recognize that, especially if you're a student. Yodi,
Hi, Prof.
can you put on your video, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Prof.
Hi, how are you, Joyce? You still in
Good.
China?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not planning coming back soon?
Probably next year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're at the writing proposal stage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I very miss you.
Yeah, you better come back soon. You know, if this just online only, we don't really. That's why it's important for us to see each other, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Who is on the line now? Who is this? Yao Wong. Who is Wang Wei Ching? Are you here? Let's put out all your faces, please. We have about 11 people here. Imelda, are you here? Wang Wei Ching, can you put up your video, please? Wang Cheng Jing Jing. Anyone, please, so that we can start the session fast. You having problem? You have line problem. Okay. You're from? Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I come from China. I'm in China.
Oh, you're in China. Are you at the proposal stage?
Yes. Still have not made the proposal yet.
Okay. So you're welcome to ask any question after my my session, or you can also send me the right in the chat box. Welcome to the session. Yeah. Okay. Wang Wei Chen, where are you? Oh, Elsa. Hello, Ling. Are you here? Okay. I'm going to start soon. You can mute your mic now so that we have before that, let me try to share so that you can see the PowerPoint first. Yeah, before can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, Prof.
Okay,
Clear,
is it
clear. Yeah.
clear? Okay, thank
All right,
you.
clear.
So we will start now. So welcome to the session on this writing academic research proposal for social science. Why I say social science? Because science and non-science, there are different techniques and presentation. So today, I'm going to share with you a deeper understanding what is research and research proposal, so that when you write the proposal, you know what you're writing about. Yeah, and then I will take you through the research process that you need to go through. Whether you're doing master or PhD, by research, the process is very important. It's not only writing a thesis, it's also the process that you've gone through and you become mature, right? So to start off with the writing of research proposal, your idea and topic is very important. Then setting the right research question and objective, then choosing the right research objective. To some extent, I'll share with you the data collection and data analysis technique. Yeah. So it probably take you 1 hour and a half. Huh? So when you talk about writing research proposal, it's something that is very systematic. Huh? You have to develop a system. That system is actually governed by the research process. So a proposal must have a plan, a time frame, right? That's why you came up with a proposal. First 3 months, what do you want to achieve? Next 6 months, what do you want to achieve? And then it guides you. It gives you a direction. After I've done my proposal, I've done my defense, what do I do? The next thing is you make correction if there is any. Then you start collecting data. That's what a guide is. A guide. Your proposal is a guide to inform you and your examiner and your supervisor. How are you going to complete your research project? Based on the time frame, based on the activity. That's why it shows the activity that you need to perform. And of course, a proposal must be evaluated, right, by your supervisor, by the committee. And most important thing is when you look at your research proposal, it must have some kind of standard. It must have that proposal is a feasible project. That means whatever data you collected is achievable, right? Whatever what you call activity you want to do is within the 3 years for PhD and 1 year for master or 1.5 years, right? So therefore, that gives you some kind of idea what is a proposal. A proposal contains a timeline, contain the direction, contain the activity. So I just want to show you basically in research, we have 2 types of research, which is called into basic research and applied research, right? So basic research, we are looking into expanding the knowledge. So what does it mean? For example, today we have pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Everything become different, right? So consumer behavior will be different, right? The way hotel operate will be different. The way you market will be different because influenced by ICT. The way that you look at the economic growth also will be different. So we are doing basic research, one way. And result in principle related to process and outcome. So anything that you're looking into testing, yeah, the variable, looking into the relationship, looking into the process in your research, or looking into what kind of outcome, it is also a basic research. Or your research is something that add value or contribute significantly to the society. For example, the way forward to open up tourism industry, or the way how economy can grow, right? So the basic research is something that fundamental, that you will try to look for something new, something that is what you call uh, um, outcome, a new outcome. Yeah. So in that context, this is basic research is often done by the university scholar or certain specific topics that you're looking at. Yeah. So basic research do have some kind of flexible schedule. Whereas for applied research is to improve your understanding based on existing. You have also limited research. So the basic you don't apply, but the apply one you actually, after your finding, right, your research finding will be applied by the respective organization, managers, or society. Yeah. So here, apply research, you are specifically focused more on the specific setting, right? And you have very specific schedule to complete. Yeah, for example, contract research, to some extent also the research by research grant. Most of the research grant given by KPT, by university, also you have a specific a schedule. It can be short or 1 year, 2 years. Yeah. So you need to understand the scope of your proposal, that research that you're going to apply in your postgraduate study. You need to recognize the difference of applied and basic research. But today, most of the postgraduate research will require to some extent that is an element of applied research. Yeah. So next thing in writing your proposal, you need to understand the research process. Yeah. Because each process will take you through a different journey with a different activities that you need to go through. So in simple terms, there are 8 stages of process that you have to go through. Of course, the first one is to formulate and clarify your research topic. This will probably take some time. Yeah. Then you review the literature review, and you choose the appropriate research design approach. Then you look at the ethical issue. Not only ethical issue, the access to the data is very important. Yeah, because if you are going into getting a very sensitive data, and your respondents are actually highly ranked, uh, highly ranked officers or respondents who are very busy, you might not be able to meet and collect the data. Yeah. So, and you have to tell us what are your data collection method, what type of data to collect, how are you going to analyze your data, qualitative, quantitative, each have different method, and writing project report, what kind of format, and of course you have to do your presentation. Yeah. So for some of you already have gone through, let's say 1, 2, 3, you might want to re-look at it. Especially review, literature review is a constant process until the end of your draft. Yeah. Clarifying your research topic will take some time, because you need to understand that particular parameter and context, what people have done, what people have not done. Yeah. If you have any question, please let me know. So research process for empirical study, right? I took this from, although it is a quite old textbook, but it has very useful. I find out And I use this for my PhD during my study. Okay, so the initial stage is, as a research student, you need to check with your institution or your department what are the regulations. So for example, at UMS, you constantly need to find out any new regulations, any new procedure from a postgraduate center, as well as at FPEP, right? And then after that, you tend to focus on your topic and your proposal to get your proposal defended and approved, right? That is your initial stage. At the early development, right, you need to look at what are the possible contact and permission for you to get go to the fieldwork, get the respondents. How are you going to access to the fieldwork, especially right now within this COVID context? There's a lot of rules and regulation. Yeah, you need to find out from the postgraduate center what is the procedure, and then the faculty level, as well as your respondent, specific segment of the respondent, how it could do. Yeah, and likewise, getting your literature review, how to access your secondary data, not only from the article journals, but related government agency. Right, for some of you are doing economy study or business performance or SME, you might want to you may need to contact few of the related government agency. Okay, and after getting to know who are your possible respondent, you relook at your topic and method, then find out within the literature review. This is one of the common issue faced by students, is that they'll put a lot of topics in a literature review. One way, a useful guide for you to decide which are the topic relevant, which are the literature reviews that you may consider to put in your proposal, is look at your title, look at your keywords. Always start with the keywords. Yeah. For example, if you're talking about COVID-19 pandemic impact on tourism industry, definitely one of the important literature review will be on impact of COVID on tourism. Then you look at the tourism. Then tourism, which sector you need to focus, right? And then you start looking at your research design. Okay. So next, moving on, the first core activity is definitely once you look at your early development, these are the area that you try to search, look for. Then the core activity stage is where you really go into your literature review and identify your gaps, research gaps, identify through your literature review, setting your hypothesis if you're doing quantitative, and looking into specific research method, which method you want to use. Yeah. So at this stage, you already familiar with what is quality, what is quantity, right? But for some of you may think that I am a quality person, then you strictly zoom into quality and expand from there justification research method. Whereas for some of you are doing mixed method, then in that case, you need to familiar reading, revise, synthesize the two method, quality and quantity. Okay, so and again, in writing a proposal stage, you also need to quickly get confirmed or who are your list of potential contact and the respondent already. Don't write until the end. You find out, oh, it is so difficult to identify the respondent or the sample size. Then it becomes non-feasible. Then you have to readjust again the whole thing. Yeah. Second core activity stage is you will then do the pilot testing, and you do your final adjustment, then decide looking after your pilot testing, then you go for your main data collection and analysis. Yeah. And at some point you should be able to come up with some kind of preliminary conclusion and further data collection. Do you actually need it? Yeah. The relationship within the method you use, and conclusion. And the final stage is writing. For writing, you're going to take about faster is 6 to 8 months, sometimes 6 to 12 months. Yeah, draft and final draft. And of course, finally, you do your delivery of the copy as well as your presentation and manuscript. Okay, so writing a proposal stage, first thing is you need to organize your idea. Now, what does it mean, organize your idea? First of all, you have to search the topic that you're interested, and you have to ask yourself why this topic is interesting and why this topic is important. That means you have to do the current emerging issue in your related area. If you are in SME, what is the current issue? What is the emerging issue? Are these idea that you're going to expand into your research proposal really important, contributes to the society? Like, is it something new? Because when you do PhD, especially PhD, what are your contributions? So in this research proposal, you have to show the significant and the contribution, the potential contribution of your proposal. Right. Convince your audience. Who are your audience? In this case, we are in the higher learning institution, will be our your supervisor and the examiners, right? Yeah. Contracting with your client. That means if you're doing commercial project, it's very different. Here we're talking about writing research proposal for academic, writing proposal for consultant, for commercial project, or for getting external grant, or for commercial, for business. Then your client, the funder is the most important, not based on your reading or your understanding. So as you write your research proposal, equally important is you need to understand how can you consider this is a good proposal. How can your proposal be accepted? So here are four main criteria that you need to consider. First of all, viability of the proposal. That means in the academic line, you only have 1 year or 3 years. Of course, you can expand, but your initial target should look into the timeline, 3 years for PhD. For master, you can plan 1 to 2 years, okay? So if you're going to write a proposal that would need, for example, using mixed method definitely will need longer time. If you insist to go for mixed methods research, then you have to justify and show the cases that why you need mixed method and how does it beneficial and how to manage the time. Okay. If you are using single method, yes, okay. Then you have to justify, for the next 3 years, next 3 months, what are you going to do next 6 months? So the time is very important, as well as the resources. The resources here, sometimes besides time factor, you also look into the financial resources. You need to collect data, you need to take off from your work, right? So those resources is very important financially, because when you are a student, you have no income. Or if you are under a GRA research, a graduate research scheme, make sure you have sufficient fund to sustain until you complete your research. Yeah. Then, okay. absence of preconceived idea. Because we are going into this research process, there are a lot of uncertainty. Sometimes the situation may change, right? For example, your data collection. You plan to go for face-to-face interview, but in today's context, face-to-face interview it impose a lot of problems and issue because of the social distancing, the travel restriction, the restrict interstate traveling. So what do? So you have to plan. The data collection will be more towards using fake online survey or focus interview through webinar or some kind of using ICT. Yeah. So this is something that you are unpredictable, right? Then one of the way is to how to secure your research proposal with less uncertainty is you need to what you call try to conceptualize what will be the journey like, what are the possible barriers, what are the possible issues that may delay your research activity, right? And sometimes we may get your proposal to be reviewed by your colleague before you submit, because when your proposal being submitted, it will be reviewed by the expert in the system, in that particular field. And make sure the topic that you choose is an interesting one that has some kind of significance to the current or to the future or in that particular context or field of study. And idea, topics, objective, these are the key things that expert or evaluation criteria fall on. If your topic is interesting, already show an indication that you are quite well versed in your area of research. That give the indication to the examiner or your supervisor that you have read a lot. And then your research question and objective must fall back to your research gaps or issue that you're going to address. There's always a problem. That's why as an examiner or supervisor, we will see the alignment of your research question and objectives with the research issue or gaps. And of course, the completion of the research. How are you going to complete? They say if you are doing a comparison research, compare Malaysia and Japan, right? So one of the concerns is how are you going to get the data from Japan, even though you may have people help you to collect data, right? Or you have the contact, but the time, the delay, you are talking about international context now. And finally, your research topic, okay, is your starting point for your proposal. So when you writing your research proposal, before writing, you already done a comprehensive reading of that particular area, and you already have a lot of information based on the past study, based on the issues, the gaps that you're going to put into this proposal. Any questions so far?
No, Prof.
No? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So let's look at the attribute of a good research topic. Okay, just now I share you, right? The topic is very important. Just like when you want to apply research grant also, many times evaluator or the examiner will look at your research topic. Yeah. So first of all, make sure your topic meet the standard of master or PhD level. So of course, master you go very deeper. PhD you go deeper. As master level, you are trying to expand the existing knowledge only. But PhD, you're looking to a significant contribution besides expanding, right? So one of the things is your research proposal or the topic show a very interesting, exciting issues that you are looking at it, right? And the third point is how capable are you going to undertake this piece of research? For example, human resource management or SME or ecotourism. How confident, how capable, do you have sufficient knowledge? If you don't, because this is research, that means you have to read, you have to read a lot and search a lot what other people have done and understand the basic concept. So you feel comfortable. That's why oftentimes I tell my student, is this a topic that have great interest on you? Is this topic relevant, beneficial? Right? Not because you like the topic. Yeah, when you do research, it's not because you like the research topic. The topic is interesting, but must be beneficial, must be feasible, right? So do you have a specific research skills? For example, you are doing qualitative. How confident are you? If you're not, please attend, read qualitative research. What is so different? What are the importance of this? Yeah, data analysis, likewise, financial and time, gain access, and you need to link to your theory. What is your underpinning theory that guide you to do this particular research topic? So at the same time, you're not only finding the research gaps, developing research objective and question, you are also looking at a specific theory or conceptual framework that guide your research. Yeah. So a good research topic will produce good knowledge of, will show a good knowledge of literature review. That is where we can see from your research question and objective. And also, it will help you to develop your career path. That's why the topic itself has a huge significant implication on your career development. If you're interested to venture into this particular area, please do something related that will help in your future career, and your you will be able to show your expert specialization in this area. Don't just do something out of your field. For example, you're from the tourism, you're interested in economy, something like that. Is a total different discipline. Yeah, unless you have a strong determination to complete that. So yeah, then checklist. Right. So as you write, you can look at that topic and do your self evaluation. You say, okay, I'm interested in this topic. Is it feasible? Is it achievable? What type of skills do I need? Can I complete on time? What kind of data I need to collect? So as you ask a lot of questions on this, then it really direct you to think further or to research further. Yeah. And in case you are lacking of skills, it is feasible, but you are not competent in terms of skills and knowledge or data analysis, always go back to postgraduates. They have a lot of this workshop to guide you. Yeah? And you can even talk to your supervisor ways to sharpen your skills and knowledge of this particular topic. Then next question you ask is appropriateness. Is it worth to do it? Does it meet the academic standard? Is the theory that I suggest to use relevant to my research? Does this topic will give a fresh idea, fresh insight? What are the likely outcome for my research? Does it match your goals, right? So these are important questions that you want to ask. For example, I have students done few tourism research where it can actually apply towards the end, the output of the research can be shared to the industry players. And that industry player can actually use part of the research to understand the concept, to apply the business practices, to strengthen their business performance. These are the things that we look at that. Yeah. And then next, I'd like to share with you some of the techniques to generate your research idea. This is commonly very difficult for some of the students, how to generate research idea, right? So first you look at you can go through rational thinking, means you think rationally, you say, okay, your own strength and your interests. Ask yourself, what are your interests? What are your strengths? And then look at past studies title. So in that case, you have to go and search, right? Through Google search, to PC search, then you discuss with your supervisor and say, here are the area of my interest, here are my strength, and then here are the past study, and I'm trying to do this. So a lot of things, it begins with your literature review. It doesn't come from your fresh mind. Reading literature review, looking at the emerging issue. Another way of identifying a good topic is watch international news. Through that international news, for example, if you watch CNA, the news, TV news from Singapore, it gives you rich inside information of that what is happening within our society and economy. So you can actually pick up some of the interesting idea and turn into a research topic. Second is a creative thinking. So whenever you think of some kind of idea, you always carry a notebook with you, right? The moment you think about it, you write down, right? Then you explore. With this particular idea, you go and search, Google search, you go and search the literature review, and then start looking into the broader concept to specific. And at the same time, you can also do brainstorming. Refining your research idea. Of course, once you get your idea, you need to refine from time to time. That's why your research topic keep changing. Yeah, idea also keep changing. And don't worry, this is a process of doing research. So you start with your preliminary study. You have a very bigger, broader understanding of the topic. Who has done that? Who has not done that? What is the limitation of this topic? You know, as you read from a lot of articles towards the end, they will recommend, you know, for further research, future research. That is part of a very important information for you to pick up and justify as your research get on issue. Okay, because that researcher has not able to complete the whole piece of research towards that field, so he's suggesting. And then as your understanding progress, yeah, you also need to identify, refine your research question, and then in the area. And then if you are being employed, if you are working adults, you may want to consult your company. Is there any things or particular topics or idea that you can suggest so that I can do a research, so at the end the company will benefit some. So how to turn your idea into research topic, right? So first of all, look at your research question and objective, right? When you turn your idea into research project, that means you're trying to formulate your research question and objective. Okay, your objective and question should not be too small and too big, or too sensitive. Okay, so how do you show that it's too small, too big, or too sensitive? Of course, you as a student, at times you may not be able to know. It's fine. Consult with your supervisor, or share with an expert. Sometimes, if you have a good networking with other researchers, you can discuss informally, right? So you want to make sure that your research question and objective are actually fall within that parameter of the research issue or gaps. Yeah. So generally, your research idea will provide new things, something that is new, right? Something that will give you add into your existing literature review for master, but for PhD, you have to add more in the sense that contribute to differentiate the theory, to suggest to have it will have some kind of implication on managerial or implication on research method. Right. So it will show you during your progress of your research. Yeah. And your research question is actually developed from your idea. You turn your idea into a question, in a more specific question, and also into a very specific research objective. Okay, when you write your research objective, it should be measurable. You know the SMART, right? Guided objective in a research project must be measurable, achievable, within the time frame, and specific. Yeah. So this will take you some time to formulate, to revise, to change, revise, change. Yeah. So to some extent, right, the research objective, the keyword that you use, will be able to tell the examiner or your supervisor, oh, this is the research design should be qualitative or should be quantitative. So how do you do that? For example, I give you few words that, okay, to explore, right? To explore, it means it's a qualitative. Because in quantitative, you cannot explore. So common words for qualitative is to explore, to identify, to describe, to propose. Whereas for quantitative, you can have it is to determine, right? Determine can be fall under quality or quantity depending on how you formulate your research objective and question. Then to identify the relationship, right? The causal effect in your research objective or question is already implied. This is a quantitative research. So as you write, you have to be very careful. And your research idea should break down into several research questions. So at times you will see you will have one big research question, then followed by a small or some research question, or you have one big research objective, the main research objective, you have sub. It's okay, because sometimes to achieve that particular research issue, right, you ask a main question, then you carry on in the subset area. Okay, so example of research idea, right, and the research question. So your idea is, right, job recruitment via internet. Okay, so your general focus on the question will be how effective is the internet recruitment, right? Traditional method. That is the main. So for you to carry on how effective, then you have to look at the portion of the recruitment process, the portion of the internet usage, and then the comparison of the traditional method. Second, research idea, guest satisfaction dimension in hotel. So this is your idea. How do you formulate into question? What are the underlying dimension of guest satisfaction in hotel? So in this case, even with this question, it already tell me this is a qualitative. Yeah, it can be. Then the third one, the use of internet banking. So the idea is very general, okay? But you turn into research question first. What effect has the growth of internet banking had upon the customer make of branch facility? So by looking at the third research question, you can break down into several sub-research questions. So writing research objective, okay? So as I told you, the research objective has to be very clear with specific purpose. It should be operational, can be measured, and then in that research objective, it normally highlight the types of variable or construct that you're taking. Yeah? So, and it may possibly link to the theory. Right? So a good and sound research objective must be specific. What exactly you try to achieve from this research? It is measurable. What measure to determine you have achieved the research objective? Achievable. Who are your target? Who are your respondent? The time frame, realistic, and time. Okay. So your research objective is actually developed from your research problem and issue, right? As I highlighted earlier, it's very important for you to cross-check your research objective and your research issue. What are the aims you want to achieve? The research objective can be exploratory, explanatory, clarification. It can be theory. It can be problem solving. It can be predicted. So these are the area where your research objective can fall under. So the word used just now, like I mentioned, explore, determine, identify, to discuss, to investigate the relationship. So what it means here is when you write your research proposal, you have to clearly state that this proposal aims to explore or to provide explanatory or to test the theory or to solve the problem or to predict, estimate. Yeah. And your research question must always come from your research objective. Translate that. So here I'm giving you some example. Quantitative, what impact, what is the pattern, effect testing. Qualitative, avoid the words such as effect, influence, determine. So qualitative, we use open-ended question. Yeah. And to explore, to examine, to describe, to highlight. And qualitative always try to answer the question what, how, and why. Yeah, not to use the word cause, relationship, association. There's a big difference. For those who are doing your PhD level, I would highly encourage you to read research philosophy, research paradigm, because the knowledge that you're going to discover through your PhD thesis research will base on your research paradigm. And how does the knowledge being discovered is based on the research paradigm, whether you use quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method. You have to put in that perspective in the right manner that align to the research issue that you are discussed. Okay. So the importance of theory in writing research question, right? So as I mentioned just now, any scientific research must be guided either concept, variable, or underpinning theory. That is the academic research. So the role of theory to decide your research design and approach. So what is a theory, right? Normally, a theory we define as a cause and effect of two or more variables that have been tested according to Gill and Johnson. And another perspective is theory is connects between the phenomena, a story about why events, structure, thought occur in the nature of causal relationship. So a theory can be seen as cause and effect if that phenomena keep coming back, repeat, it become a theory. Just like we say, the sun rise on the east, right? So you will see the phenomenon emerge continuously without any changes. Just like if we go to the rural area, we look at the man always early morning go out to work, the wife will stay at home, do housework. All right, continuously, this has been repeated in the village for all the years. So this we can surely stated that the men's are for the to be responsible for the income to bring back. The wife is responsible for the housework because no matter which day or what, it occur the same thing. Yeah. So that's why whether you're doing quali or quanti, you must be guided by either theoretical framework, conceptual framework, or highlight the underpinning theory for that. Yeah. So references, data, list of variable, diagram, hypothesis that do not offer explanation of the relationship occur is not a theory. Just to share with you the differences between the importance of theory. Whether you're doing quali or quanti, you must be guided by. So a theoretical framework is any theory that or assumption that you're using. And with that theory, it has a list of construct of variable that you are using. So you need to justify why you see this, why this theory is, or the construct within this theory is relevant in your research because this has been used or proven by past study or researcher or been used before. Yeah? Okay, so here come to the writing of your research proposal, right? So first of all, you need to be aware of what is the content of your research proposal required. So UMS postgraduate already have that guideline. So first of all, the title, the background, the research question objective, literature review, focus on key concept, literature review, the key area, the key concept, and your theoretical framework. Don't worry, if you don't have a theoretical framework, you may require a conceptual framework, right? Then your research method, your timeline, and your Gantt chart. Then your resources and time, financial. This is not necessary, but your timeline, you should work within 3 years or 2 years for your master, and then references. These are references that you have used. Bear in mind, when you look at the references, make sure you have both. Right? Not necessarily both, but the most updated one. So your title, right? Show is the title that you are interested. It should be less than 12 words and reflect the content. It also reflects your research problem or area that you are doing. And your title have some kind of implication to show that it is measurable, time, accessible, the value of the title, right? It will show and the scope. Your research problem must be clarified and stated. State why the research is of interest or important. And the problem is actually coming out from your review of your literature. And your problem in this research, you're trying to fill up the gaps. So you read a lot of articles. And then towards the end of the articles, the avenue for future research. So you put so and so have stated that, suggest this area should be further research, right? Many of the researchers stated, and the problem issue is a new area, is an emerging areas. So we need to solve that particular problem. We need to look at that, and the problem actually, research problem actually also connected strongly with from your research background. That's why it's a challenging. Sometimes how do you present your research background? Yeah, so your research background is actually connected to your research gaps or issue, and your research question and objective are developed from your problem and research, addressing your research issue and problem. So background is very important. Yeah, start from research, tell people why you want to do the impact of COVID-19, because it affects tourism business, right? Tourist arrival to decline, everybody suffer, and the way doing business is different, the economy downturn. Yeah, the importance of your research. Your sometimes also curiosity, to what extent, you know, this particular theory can be applied in current context. Yeah. Most important thing is when you are doing your research proposal, the topic that you really interested, you have the passion to explore. Remember, this will be 3 years for PhD, right? And show great interest and knowledge in the past study. Yeah. And of course, after you review the past study, you need to show how your particular idea and proposal fit into that research gaps or fit into what is currently needed to address. Yeah? Okay, so your research method will be the longest session of your proposal, because you need to show how are you going to achieve your research objective. Let's say you have 5 research objectives, right? You make sure that all the data are collected for the 5 research objectives. And before that, you need to justify the choice of the method. Why do you want to use interview? Why do you want to use survey? Right? So in that sense, you need to familiar yourself with all kind of research method. Okay, so there are 2 sections here. One is a research design. Okay, how are you going to design in such a way that you are able to achieve and collect the data and achieve your research objective? That will include your analysis, your respondent, right? How you carry out your survey, interview, right? Why do you do that? Where do you get your secondary data? Then when it comes to data collection, what type of data are you collecting? Objective number 1, what type of data? Objective number 2, what type of data? How do you decide sample size, sample population, sample size? And for qualitative, you need to make sure you include the ethical perspective, yeah? Data analysis, your statistic test. For quantitative, qualitative, the procedure of transcribing, thematic categorization. And also for qualitative, you need to read detail where you need to describe the step of data analysis, and then the validity, the reliability, both for quality and quantity. And what kind of time, resources you have, right? So resources, data access, equipment, skills. For example, for those who are doing quantitative, you need to have statistic test, the software, the packages, so as the qualitative also. You may want to decide to use software to analyze the data, check whether the faculty or the technical department has purchased such a software. And of course, your field work, you need to follow when are you going to, for your field work, do you get any assistance, financial assistance from postgraduate? And what kind of, can you be appointed as a graduate research assistant to get some financial support? Do you need to present, right, and publish while doing your PhD, you need to be aware of this. Yeah? And references, the format of the references. Okay, so as I want to repeat again, this is a good guide for you. A characteristic of good research: interesting, current topic, good literature review, that means relevant and updated, sound primary research. How do you know? Based on your research objective and question. That will tell what are you doing. Are you collecting, addressing some current issue? Logical structure, that means for a basic understanding, logical structure means from the research background relate to the research problem and issue, research problem issue connected to your research objective and question, and your method. Analytical, right? How analytical? That means synthesize the literature review. Have you integrate some kind of theory or concept underpinned by conceptual framework? Integration between methodology, literature, analysis, and conclusion. So please look at this. As you write your research proposal, how this applies. Is there any points that you're lacking here? So you can do like a cross-checking. Yeah? So success, how do you make sure that you're successful complete your research proposal? First of all, you must have highly motivated, interested in this particular topic. Yeah, you must like your work. You must like the activity that you're going to carry out. So you should see as a form of learning, personal interest, personal growth, that you are able to solve some kind of problem from this research. So motivation is very important. Support, okay? You also need your supervisor to support you in terms of guide you in the area that you're not familiar. For example, in terms of list of article, literature review, or sources of good information. Right? So your supervisor will, the guidance from your supervisor and the support is very important. Talk to your supervisor at different stages. Yeah. For example, like myself, when my student is doing all these specific topic, as I go through the latest article, I think that this article are relevant, I'll send it to them and ask them to read and synthesize it. Yeah. And of course, your personal quality is very important, your competency. That means the style of the way you work on your research proposal, your creativity. Right? For me, when you work as a piece of research, you should fill up with curiosity, the sense of wanting to know more. Right? So you continuously pay attention on that particular topic, whether it's news, whether it's article, whether it's newspaper or whatever, or you may listen to those expert or conference. Sometimes in a conference now, today is quite easy to access because everything is online. Yeah. So you have that kind of prepared mind that, okay, this topic is related to my research. I need to find out more. Huh? Become a lifestyle, you should have that kind of open mind style and look at how from different perspective of the related current issue can be actually incorporated or have implication on your research. Huh? So your style and your creativity, for me, I always pay attention. Develop that kind of style. Then, let's say you are doing human resource. Anything about human resource, you should explore. Past, present, and now. Personal quality, right? The quality of a competent researcher. So when you are doing a PhD or master, like I say, it's not only a completion of the thesis, a good writer. We are training you to become a good researcher that has specific quality in terms of knowledge, broad knowledge, specific research skills. So in this sense, right, you while doing this, you should already develop the knowledge that you are aware, okay, for human resource, there are so many assumptions, there are so many perspectives, right? Coming from government, coming from organization, coming from managers, HR manager, coming from the Western country, and different culture. Awareness, method of data collection. You are also aware of the various method of data collection and why do you use this particular method in your research. Your subject of study, that means the topic that you're working on it. We are trying to develop you become a sort of specialized in this particular area. And of course, you need to have a good network and contacts among your colleagues, among the lecturer, among the industry. Okay, next, the skills. Your skill of plan, organize, manage the time is very important. You should also put out a specific time for your research, right? You need to get the cooperations from other departments that related to your research. Try to read how a good scholar came up with a good writing in terms of how they structure and present a logical argument. Okay, so as you read the articles, you'll find out the patterns. Right? For each journal, they have specific structure. So as for your research proposal, also you have a specific structure. So one of the difficulty find is your argument, how you present your argument. Yeah? So you will learn all this through reading your journals, article, how people present their argument, logical structure. And finally, you also need to identify your personal quality. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So you need to improve your weaknesses by attending seminar. If you are very bad in time management, improve on that, set up a schedule. What are the values that you uphold? Right? Your flexibility, your creativity, right? And what are your sensitivity and the feeling towards specific thing, right? Of course, it would be good for you to stay away from those sensitive things because to do scientific research, try not to gather, political opinions, things that related to scandal, things that related to sensitive argument. Go avoid those because at the end you end up a serious problem in terms of getting data or being, not accepted by the examiner and your supervisor. So at the end, what I want to say is to write a good proposal, a research proposal, perseverance. You have to be very determined. You have to be very patient. And with that perseverance, you need to have a good communication skills, intellectual use of information, ICT. Your organization skill will help you to reduce a lot of time. If you know how to organize your literature review, your articles, motivation, of course, and you need to be very independent. Don't depend on so much on your supervisor. Your supervisor is there to guide you, but not to be depend. It will not give you so much dependency. Okay, so with that, thank you very much. Good luck in your research proposal. Any questions?
Hello, good morning, Prof.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Soraya, Prof. Soraya, Prof.
Yes.
Sorry, sorry. Yeah. How are you, Prof?
Fine, thank
Sorry,
you.
I didn't turn on my video. My face is sunburned, Prof.
Okay. Yeah.
I got one question. This some situation I just come across this question. Let's say you already done your proposal defense, okay, in the middle of your research, then suddenly you come across or find out one research totally similar like your research. So how as PhD candidates overcome this situation, Prof? If I just wondering because I come across I got idea last time 5 years ago. My idea about business performance, I didn't register yet as a PhD students. Then I find out full thesis similar like my idea. Then this guys already published, and then I wondering, if I become a PhD student, then suddenly if this happen in the middle of your research, you find out similar with your research. The only difference is the country. So what suppose as a student PhD to tackle this situation, Prof? Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Very good question. This
Yeah,
also
thank you.
applied to me when I was doing mine. I was also very concerned whether any other researcher is doing this and publish. Okay, the chances is like this. Like you should analyze the types of data that you collected. Is it the same respondent or different respondent? Okay. Secondly, because you are telling me that the only difference is the country, right? Oh,
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is, because it's such a sad case, so you try to look at because your respondent will be different, correct?
Prof.
And the country is different. So one way of doing it, discuss with your supervisor that use these two strong points. The method, is it the same method? Data collection is the same or different?
For example, I assuming is last time I figure out is similar, Prof.
Okay.
Single method, Prof.
Single method, but the method of data collection, is it survey or question or survey or interview?
Survey, Prof.
It's the same.
Yep.
In that case, you might want to discuss with your supervisor. Just argue that the respondent is different, the country is different. In the country, you highlight the culture. What are the variables that is different that you are using, even though it's similar research, but the result may not be similar. Even the result is similar, you have to justify that this thesis was looking at the gaps in the last 5 years, and we are looking at a specific country, Malaysia, correct?
Correct, Prof.
So you say that although similar thesis, similar design, but I'm sure your literature review will be different also, right? It cannot be similar. So you argue in that way that, yes, people have done it, but what I did it is because in this case, you should justify there's no specific research have done in Malaysia context. And Malaysia is a very different country in terms of cultural setting, in terms of the way business perform, right? Because we are governed by different government's policy, things like that.
Yeah.
It still should be acceptable. It cannot be 100% similar. It could be the method of collecting data is the same, but the literature review will be different. It cannot be same. If its literature review is the same, then you know what I mean? It's like 100% similar, which is impossible. So you can argue from that manner.
If let's say the guys using, I mean the what do you call that, the software, Prof. The guys who are doing that using perhaps simple SPSS, for example, then mine I'm using, let's say I'm using Smart PLS. Is that also consider the different, Prof?
Yes, just say that the data analysis method is different, right? The types of data you collected are different, even though it could be questionnaire is the same, right? So you have to argue from that. So look at every stages, what are the differences?
Okay, Prof.
Hmm.
Yeah, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Any more questions? I can take one or two more. All right, if no questions, thank you very much for the session. And for those who wanted my PowerPoint, Elizabeth will send to you later on, right? Okay. All right. Thank you for joining my session. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Prof, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Prof.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
Prof.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye. Some more.